listening to Denver Sports 1043, The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more, DenverSports.com.
Yes, it is Denver Sports Tonight, right here on the ever-powerful Denver Sports 1043, The Fan. Anilo Piro, kind of riding solo, kind of not. Going to bring in my guy Dante Gomez behind the glass, but you're a producer first. I see you shaking your head back there. It's usually, host one, host two, producer in the mix as well. But I am the only host in the studio right now. Dante behind the glass. We'll have some fun here tonight. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Anilo? How you doing?
I didn't like that snarky shaking of the head there.
I didn't like your comments of riding solo. If you want, I won't.
Technicality.
No, it's okay, Anilo. I won't say another word the whole show. You got it.
Don't do that. I need you tonight. I'm playing a little hurt this evening. But hope everyone is doing well out there in the Mile High City. Lot to unpack here today. I mean, where do we want to start? We could talk about every single team tonight, and I'll try to hit them all for you over the next hour or so. So let me know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com text line. We could go Nuggets. We could go Avalanche. We can go Rick George with the Buffaloes. We could talk Rockies. I guarantee you we will talk Rockies throughout the course of the show today as Paul DePodesta officially introduced as their president of baseball operations. I came away optimistic, to say the least, so we'll talk some Rockies. But I think we've got to start with Denver's favorite sports team. And some background here. I've been working in the Denver media market, 2025? So about 10 years. It'll be 10 years as soon as we turn the calendar to 2026. And the Denver Broncos, I'll never forget my first interview for my first real job in this business was the week of Super Bowl 50. Or maybe it was the week before because they were getting ready to go to Radio Row. But I was working for, some local media outlets and whatnot in town. And I'm like, this is like my introduction to sports media. And they're like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Like Super Bowl this week, Broncos playing the Panthers, of course. They're like, it's not usually this crazy. And I'm like, okay, I know this is a Bronco town. Broncos rule the world, all that kind of stuff. But the point that I'm trying to make is this game on Sunday is the most important Broncos game in the near 10 years, the near decade that I've been working in Denver sports. For a majority of my Denver sports career, the Denver Broncos have been on the outside looking in, right? You've got an Avalanche championship. You got the Nuggets championship. Heck, the Rockies went to the playoffs in back-to-back years when I was covering them on a day-to-day basis as a beat reporter in 2017 and 2018. I've seen the DU Pioneers win a national championship, right? I've seen a lot of different stuff in the Denver sports market, but I haven't seen a thriving Denver Broncos team. We saw that a little bit last year, and so far this year with the 8-2 record, the Denver Broncos find themselves in the driver's seat and control their own destiny with respect to the AFC West, the seeding in the AFC as a whole, right? The Patriots are up there as well. But point being, the Broncos are in the best place that they've been in the last 10 years. And boy, oh boy, I'm stoked. I am so pumped up for this game on Sunday, man. I am chomping at the bit. I'll be there covering it for us at Denver Sports 1043 The Fan on social media, so make sure to check us out over there. You can also check me out on social at Media by AP. A real deal, big-time Denver Broncos game coming up this Sunday as they get ready to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I heard Zach Bye, I forget his name, but the guest they had on from Kansas City in their sweep as I was listening driving in, he said he was going to steal the line validation game. I am also going to steal the line validation game. I think that is a perfect way to put it, as this is a game, and this as a season has been so funky, so strange for the Denver Broncos. Like, if you watch every game like I have, and I know most of you out there in Broncos country have as well, and if you listen to Sports Talk Radio here on the ever-powerful 1043 The Fan, it doesn't feel like a team that's 8-2. Like, when you hear 8-2, like, if you would have told me the Broncos would have been 8-2 leading into this game against Kansas City, if you would have told me that before the season started, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Sean Payton on point with his thoughts about Bo Nix. This offense is cooking. Pat Bryant's involved. R.J. Harvey has turned into this dynamic rookie running back. Evan Ingram is this true joker. None of that's true right now with the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix isn't playing great. What's the stat that Zach threw out throughout the course of his show? Lead the league in 3-and-outs. Lead the league in punts. Evan Ingram is borderline non-existent. There's a lot of stuff going on with this Denver Broncos team, and not all of it's good right now. But they're at 8-2, and they're taking on a Kansas City Chiefs team that is obviously down, but not out. Down in the sense of they're worse this year, less competitive this year than they have been in years past. So this is the Broncos' best opportunity, I think, to go out there. Or maybe not the best opportunity, but this is a big opportunity for the Broncos to go out there and slam the door on Kansas City in the AFC West. And with how they've been playing Thursday Night Football against the Raiders, Sunday against the Texans, with everything except the Cowboy game for the most part over the course of this win streak, there's something to be desired with this Broncos offense. A lot to be desired with this Broncos offense. Now, the defense is a different story. But, Dante, do you agree with the assertion that this is a validation game for the Broncos?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if there's any game on the schedule that can validate the Broncos in winning the AFC West, it's, you got to beat the champs to be the champs. And I think that's what this Sunday is an opportunity for the Broncos to do. And it's not like in years past when the Chiefs could possibly overlook a bad Broncos team that we've seen. The Chiefs need this game. This is a must-win for them. They are 5-5 or 5-4. They cannot afford to go to 5-5 and really fall behind in the division, really fall behind in the AFC West or in the AFC playoff race. They're already out of the playoffs. If the playoffs started right now, which how many times have you ever seen that where the Super Bowl, the leader or what am I trying to say here? The favorite to win the Super Bowl is not even in the playoff picture, and it's week 10, week 9, this far into the season, and they're not even in the playoffs right now. So I think it's a huge game for the Chiefs. They need this game, and the Broncos should have their full attention. There is no overlooking the Broncos in this game. They're 8-2, have one of the best defenses in the NFL, maybe one of the best defenses in the NFL in the past decade or two.
Yeah, for sure.
So they have their full attention coming off a bye. I mean, there's a million stats about how good Andy Reid is off a bye. There is no excuses for this Chiefs team if they aren't able to win. So if the Broncos are able to go out and win, to me, that completely validates their record, completely validates their, attempt to go win the AFC West, attempt to go be the 1 seed in the AFC here. And I think it would catch a lot of attention from crowds around the NFL of, hey, I think around the NFL, the sentiment is kind of, we're not really sure who the Broncos are. We're not really sure who the Patriots are. I think this would define who they are.
I completely agree with you. And I listen to a lot of national sports talk radio as well while listening to us here at 104.3 The Fan. And the sentiment that I'm hearing from sports talk radio hosts across the country and callers alike, and let me know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. There's still a lot of people out there that are like, if I have to pick a team and come out of the AFC still, they're picking Kansas City and they're picking Baltimore. Like, I haven't heard, yes, the Patriots are a team on the up and up, and Drake May looks to be the truth, and Vrabel's a great coach. Yes, the Broncos defense is dynamic, right? But, you would think with the Patriots at 8-2 and the Broncos sitting at 8-2. That
real quick, I'm going to throw in the Colts at 8-2 as well. But
right.
I think all three have a big question mark next to them.
I just think it's interesting that, and again, this is sports talk radio, so it's subjective and it's opinionated and whatnot. But the fact that so many people, at least from that I've talked to and that I've listened to, are still picking Kansas City and still picking Baltimore, despite with the Broncos, Colts, and Patriots all at 8-2, I think that says something. And, you threw out the notion of Andy Reid coming off the bye, 22-4 is his record off the bye lifetime as a head coach in the NFL. Of course, that goes back to his Philadelphia Eagles days. But point being, the Chiefs have had ample time to get ready for the biggest game of their season. And I think what's so interesting about this matchup is literally every single fan base that is not that of the Kansas City Chiefs is pushing hard for the Denver Broncos to win this game. Because as Dante alluded to, the Broncos win this game, then it becomes a real kind of toss-up about where is Kansas City going to make the playoffs at 5-5? I mean, the division at that point is shut. Right, the Broncos would be at 9-2. The Chiefs would fall to 5-5. 500 coming up to Thanksgiving. Think about that for a minute. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are staring in the face. And it's interesting to me as well when you look at the betting lines. Last I checked, the Kansas City Chiefs are laying 3.5 points on the road in Denver, a place where the Broncos have cleaned up in the last year and a half, where their defense has been stout, and they've managed to rip off fourth quarter comeback after fourth quarter comeback after fourth quarter comeback. So the Chiefs, who are as vulnerable as they've been in the Patrick Mahomes era, at 5-4, off the bye, which is important context, are 3.5-point favorites to come into Denver and win this game. A place where Denver does not lose football games in recent memory. I think that tells you all you need to know about the overall national perspective feeding into this game. Now, I do think the Broncos have a good chance to win this game. I'm not, I'm just trying to poo-poo this, that, the other. But I tend to agree, maybe not agree, but I lean with the thought of okay, Kansas City's not been great this year. Baltimore hasn't been great this year, but this Broncos team, despite the record at 8-2, like they don't feel like an 8-2 team. They don't feel like defensively, yes. Defensively, they feel like an undefeated team. And I understand the Chargers did some good stuff against that defense and the Colts with the leverage play and whatnot. But defensively, you feel really good about where they're at there. But again, when I hear 8-2, 10 games into the season, I would think the vibe would be a lot better around this Denver Broncos team than it is right now. And, I'm just so curious. The mini bye has been a big subject of conversation entering into this game against Kansas City. How does Denver use that to their advantage? I also heard another thought. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Dante. Did Sean Payton have a very vanilla game plan against the Raiders on purpose to not give Andy Reid some extra time to scheme and Steve Spagnuolo to scheme up some stuff on defense? I could buy that a little bit. Sean Payton seems like that kind of guy.
He does seem like that kind of guy where it's like, hey, he's playing chess, everyone else is playing checkers. But at the end of the day, you have to win that ball game. And the way that game was going, there's no way he was holding stuff back. By the end of that, it was what, 3-7 or?
It was gross. I've kind of deleted it from my memory.
I have too. I mean, they kicked the field goal at the end, so maybe it was 7-7. But they were down for a majority of the game because the Raiders did score first, if I remember right there. So
yes, Ashton Genty.
Yes, yeah. So at that point, it's like you can't be holding stuff back. You lose to the Raiders. That's a tough loss to take,
right.
And you have to sit on that for a week and a half going into the Chiefs game. I'm going to turn it back on you though. Do style points matter at all for the Broncos?
Mike Evans question.
Does the eye test matter, or if the Broncos defense is that dominant and they're able to win, let's say it's 12-7, and the Broncos have 4 field goals, would you be? What would your feeling be coming out of that game?
I don't want to spin it around on you again, but I think you could ask the same question to a Philadelphia Eagle fan, right? And with how they just beat the Green Bay Packers. And like their offense has not been clicking how they thought it would. Saquon's not been the same guy. A.J. Brown is turning into Terrell Owens before our eyes. Jalen Hurts is, Jalen Hurts and whatnot. And so where I lean back at the end of the day is a win is a win. It doesn't really matter how you get it. I would like the style points. I would. But a 1-point win is the same as a 50-point win. Right? A 1-point loss is the same as a 50-point loss. And so what it comes down to me, and I was talking about this with a buddy, is there's that Tebow-esque comparison being thrown out there, which I can subscribe to a little bit, right? Playing like absolute dog water for 3 quarters and then figuring out a way to win the game in the 4th. I actually think with the way that the defense is playing, and hold your horses here, it's more like the 2015 Broncos team. Where I understand that you had Peyton Manning, right? So I'm not trying to compare Peyton to Bo, but Peyton was a shell of himself at that point. Brock Osweiler, a bridge quarterback that helped give the Broncos some wins, including one over Tom Brady at home. I remember that game. What a matchup that was. And so I don't go the Tebow route because, yes, offensively maybe it looks like that, but the totality of this Broncos team of like middling, struggling offense that can have some explosives here and there with an elite level defense, that reminds me of 2015. And I'm not trying to come out here and say this is the 2015 Broncos and they're going to go win the Super Bowl and whatnot. I'm not trying to say that. But with the level in which the defense has been playing, they can will this team to victory, and they have week after week after week after week. And I think the question that and the frustration that all Broncos fans have right now is what is going on with the offense? Because you brought Sean Payton in here to be that offensive guru. Okay, you didn't want to coach Russell Wilson. You got rid of that. Good season with Bo Nix. And you're 8-2 this year despite up and down play with an offense that leads the league in 3-and-outs and leads the league in punts. Again, winning matters. Winning is all that matters to me at the end of the day. But again, going back to this validation dynamic, I think that's what makes this game that much more intriguing because the Broncos cannot win this game on Sunday the same way that they've won their previous handful of games on this win streak.
No, I think that's a good way of putting it. As far as the validation goes, obviously we want to see validation from the offense. Turn it around here and see some growth from Bo Nix from year 1 to year 2, where it feels like it's almost been the opposite. It's almost been regression.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
How taboo the sophomore slump conversation was in the offseason?
Yeah.
Like some people were, oh, no way! Bo Nix is not having a soft. What? No way! This isn't possible. And now it's all playing out before our eyes. I mean, there's so much groupthink. And I'm not saying people at our station or anything like that, but like national narratives on Twitter and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's interesting to see you come out and play in real life. Continue.
Yeah, no, and I was part of the group of I did not think there was going to be a chance Bo Nix was going to have a sophomore slump here. Just the way he played, the work ethic he put in, the coaching of Sean Payton, setting him up for success. You add weapons, you add J.K. Dobbins, you add Evan Ingram, you add R.J. Harvey, you add Pat Bryant. You think, oh, Bo Nix is in store here to keep on this rise that we saw from all during his rookie season here. Same thing.
Yeah.
Where didn't start off great, but then by the end of the year, it's like, oh, this guy can sling the rock. He can run around. He can make plays. He can win games here. It felt like we were just gonna see a continuance of that from Bo Nix. Hasn't quite been the case here. But as far what I was trying to get to is, yeah, it would be nice to see validation from Bo Nix in the offense. Obviously, go out there, beat a good defense, arrested defense here. Is there any, on the flip side, validation you need to see from this defense of, yeah, they did it against the Jets. Yeah, they did it against the Texans. Davis Mills on the Texans. Yeah, they did it against the Raiders. Let's see you go out and do it against Patrick Mahomes. Or are you already sold on this defense that they are a top, 1 or 2 defense in the NFL?
I'm relatively sold on the defense. And remember, they're likely not going to have Pat Surtain for this game, which is going to impact this defense tremendously. Alex Singleton dealing with the testicular cancer dynamic. And real quick on that, let me just take a pause. Thoughts, prayers, well wishes to Alex Singleton and his family. I mean, what a crazy story that came out this week. I can't imagine getting that news and then going out there and playing on Thursday Night Football, knowing that you're going to undergo a procedure for cancer the next day. It's one thing to go in and get a flu shot, right? It's one thing to have to go get a physical or take a drug test. And the ironic part is the drug test is what led to this. But I want to pause a moment there, because what an absolute warrior. And Alex Singleton is a guy that gets a lot of flack from this fan base, yet he's always at the top of the list when it comes to total tackles per game. He's all over the place. He's not a perfect player. I can understand that. But when you have Pat Surtain on one side of the field and you've got Talanoa Hufanga laying down the thunder, like there's going to be players that get exposed because of how good this Broncos defense is. And Singleton, that's happened to him a couple of times, a handful of times this season. But again, I want to pause on that because what a crazy story that was with Singleton this week. But to bring it back to your question about, like, do I need to see style points? Do I need validation from this defense? I think it's just a matter of them standing tall, right? Like, you're going to give up points, you would think, to Patrick Mahomes. Like, if you could hold them to under 24 points, I think that's a win for this Broncos defense. It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's this Chiefs offense. And I know that Broncos country doesn't like having that conversation. But to me, it's about, like, what was the trend with the defense last season? Started really hot, excellent play, fell off. I shouldn't say fell off, but dropped a little bit as the season went along. So for me, it's more so about maintaining and preserving what this defense has done. But I think the question that everyone wants to figure out and what people are most excited to see or anticipating to see is what this Denver Broncos offense looks like in a big-time game, albeit at home, but going up against the, big bad Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning defending AFC champions. How does that offense look? And a lot of people have been wondering, like, can Sean Payton simplify this offense? Can Bo Nix, make things simpler with his reads and his progressions? Like, what do the Broncos need to do to get going on offense? Here's what Sean Payton had to say about making things easier for Bo in the offense.
I think it's not it's not Bo. I mean, I think it's part of the whole process offensively and constantly in our game planning this week. Certainly opponents vary what they do scheme-wise. This is a pressure team. And so our job each week, we're always looking to find easy completions. When I look at the touchdown reel on Mondays, I've said this to you before, sometimes you'd look at a play and you'd just say, player, he went up, made a great play. And then sometimes someone's wide open and you click that button, you save it, and that was scheme. And so we're constantly looking at, how can we find those throws that fit the scheme and the defense you're attacking. Obviously, the penalties, we've got to, we're doing a great job of not taking sacks. But when we're all of a sudden, first and 20, we've got to eliminate those.
Yeah, the self-inflicted wounds with the penalties, that is something that is very correctable from this Denver Broncos offense and the team as a whole, and frankly needs to be cleaned up sooner rather than later if they want to preserve this 8-2 record and, more importantly, get to 9-2 and take down the Kansas City Chiefs. But Dante, I'm curious to get your opinion because Sean Payton is just never going to simplify this offense. I think that much is obvious at this point. But Bo's also missed some open throws. and the footwork looked sloppy. I mean, he had Evan Ingram open for a touchdown pass over the weekend. I remember that Garrett Bowles trick play they tried to run where Bo missed him on that. The interception against Dallas to start the game, bad throw, missing open receiver. So, like, I'm not trying to play the blame game right now. But again, we know that Sean Payton is not going to change his offense. It's up to Bo Nix to catch up to speed. Do you think he can do that this weekend?
I do. I expect to see one of the better games we've seen from Bo Nix in a Broncos jersey this weekend. I think him and Sean Payton are going to have it dialed up. I think those guys are both, we talk about it with Jamal Murray, like the playoff riser. I think both of those guys have that in their DNA. And we've seen that in the fourth quarter of these games where they rise to the moment. So I think they both have that in their DNA. They're both competitive as heck, and they realize how big of a game this is for them. So I think both of them are going to have it, dialed up here. Bo Nix, I like what they were saying on the morning show today. We had the clip sent out, but it was, maybe Bo Nix needs to run a little bit more, get hit, get a little more into the ball game. Because and maybe it's part of his psyche of like, hey, can't take a sack, can't get hit, all of these things, where he is leaving the pocket so early on a lot of these throws. Yes. I saw I forgot who had it, but on Twitter, a great cut up of it's just so many times where he does his drop back, first look isn't there, and there's the ability for him to step up in the pocket there. It's not like he has a crazy pass rush, but he doesn't. He leaves the pocket, he goes out, to the right side here, his throwing arm side. And it's just one of those where that's not sustainable for an offense. You have to win from the pocket in the NFL. That's just the way the sport is designed. Defenses are too good. Defensive linemen are too fast for you to try to be, this college version of yourself, the Johnny Manziel of the NFL. It just doesn't work like that in the NFL. You got to win from the pocket. And I hope he's able to step up in the pocket more. And to me, that's more of a mental block almost, where he thinks he's under, this, crunch time and the shot clock's ending. I got to get out of the pocket, extend the play, make a play. It's like, hey, sometimes, dude, if you just step up and, wait a second or two, that guy will come open. And I think hopefully over the bye week, he's able to work some of that stuff out and, be a better version of himself this Sunday.
I agree with you. And I want that to be the case. Like, let's go ahead and try to manifest that energy from Bo Nix, but I think it's a great analysis from you. He has happy feet, and it just looks like the process is either going too fast or he's not slowing down for him in the right way that it needs to, and it's just been sloppy. I think that's the simplest way to put it is Bo Nix and his offenses look sloppy. And what has me concerned about this game in particular is the status of J.K. Dobbins. And J.K. Dobbins has been an invaluable piece to this Denver Broncos offense. Invaluable. I mean, he is like, what would this offense be without J.K. Dobbins? I mean, he has been like the one stabilizer throughout this offensive play calling and this offensive scheme throughout the course of the season. And if you don't have J.K. Dobbins out there on Sunday, do you trust R.J. Harvey? Like, R.J. Harvey's been good in the passing game. He's been good in the outside zone, but you don't, the same style of runs that you see from J.K. Dobbins, those inside handoffs, that's not what we've seen R.J. Harvey be featured in with this offense this year. So that's another looming question. Again, I want the Broncos to win the game. I think they absolutely have a great chance to win this game, but I'm looking at Kansas City. I'm looking at their pedigree. I'm looking at Andy Reid off the bye, and I'm looking at a team in Kansas City where they're back against the wall, and I'm saying the Broncos have to bring their A game. The Broncos cannot win this game on Sunday. At least I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think the Broncos can win this game the same way that they've been winning games over the course of this win streak. The offense has to do their part. Now, you expect the defense to shoulder their load. They've been doing it all season. But like, this Broncos offense can't just waltz into the fourth quarter and flip a switch and score 3 touchdowns. Maybe they could. They've been doing it. But the question about that is, how sustainable is it? And I don't know if that's a viable – I mean, look, that's obviously not the game plan going into all these games for the Broncos, but – point being, this isn't the Jets. This isn't the Giants. This isn't the C.J. Stroud-less Texans. This is the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, I think this is just such an incredible moment to see what this Denver Broncos team is truly made of when the going gets tough. Because now's the time. And you know what? The other fact of this matter with this game here on Sunday is you win this game, you lose this game, whatever happens, I think this bye is coming at the right time for the Broncos. I think they need to get away, take a step back, reset a little bit. Send Bo Nix up to the mountains for 3 days and go be with nature. Go touch some grass, right? Like, the Broncos need to reset a little bit. And now let's see what happens here coming up on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. Real quick, we got a text here. Longtime listener, don't love the quote, "Winning is the only thing that matters," a few minutes ago. Sounds small and ill-informed. You play to win the game. I mean, it's the typical LeBron versus Jordan argument for GOAT. Like, Jordan is always going to be my GOAT. Why? 6 NBA Finals, 0 losses. Never went to a Game 7. Like, to me, as a sports fan, as a sports talk radio host, like, obviously style points matter, but winning is what trumps everything, in my opinion. Maybe you guys don't feel that way as well. But, like, here's the thing. If the Broncos lose this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously, you know, there's going to be reaction on Monday, and yeah, they'll be, you know, what, 8-3 if they do lose this game, but it feels like everything with that win streak just kind of goes out the window because of the bad taste that's going to be in your mouth from a game against Kansas City. So,
real quick before we move on, too, you're talking about, you know, what does this offense look like without J.K. Dobbins? I think, you know, R.J. Harvey does provide a little bit of a different aspect to the offense in terms of he has that home run ability,
yes,
at least. We've seen that.
It,
yeah. A lot of his, or, you know, a big chunk of his production has come on just a few plays where he is catching the ball out of the backfield going for 40, or he is running the ball for another 40 yards here. So I think that could add a different dynamic to the offense, at least. Maybe it's something the Chiefs haven't been preparing for with the Broncos. Obviously, they probably know J.K. Dobbins is likely not going to play in this game, but you know, there's not really tape out there on what R.J. Harvey can bring to this offense as more of a, you know, primary option out of the backfield for the team. So I think there's a little bit of a reason to be optimistic about R.J. Harvey out there. And then also, I think you're talking about, you know, J.K. Dobbins has been that steady force for this Broncos offense. You know, there's another player that comes to mind that can be that steady force that hasn't been recently. Courtland Sutton. I think we're going to get a heavy dose of Courtland Sutton on Sunday, and I think we should. I think he needs to go out and have one of his better games that we've seen this season and last season with Bo Nix. So I think we're going to lean heavy on Sutton there to be that steadying force. I'm talking maybe 7-8 receptions from Sutton for 100+ yards. That's the kind of game the Broncos will need from Sutton to win this game.
Excellent point, Dante. Absolutely excellent point. Let us know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Give me some keys to victory. How did the Denver Broncos win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday? We'll read some texts here throughout the course of the program, but a big gut check game for the Denver Broncos coming up on Sunday. This win streak has been fun. It's been exciting. You love to see it. 8-2. In the driver's seat for the division, feeling good about the standings in the AFC as a whole. Go out there and let the good times roll and take care of business against the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Broncos want to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender, go out there and win the game on Sunday. I don't think that's asking too much, right? I mean, the win streak, everything that Sean Payton has wanted could be validated with a strong showing on Sunday. Let me know your thoughts, RamosLaw.com. Text line 303-713-1043. Okay, when we come back, I'm feeling optimistic about the Rockies, Dante. Paul DePodesta introduced today with Walker and Dick Montfort out there in downtown Denver. We got some audio I want to play for you guys as well. I'm a baseball guy. Dante's a baseball guy. The city is yearning for a competitive baseball team. And is Paul DePodesta the guy to get them right? We'll break that down next.
The Fan Flyaway is back, presented by 303 Law 4040.
Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it.
To kick off 2026, Denver Sports 1043 The Fan is sending you to Phoenix for the biggest party in golf. Airfare, hotel, tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. First, head to thefanflyaway.com to register.
Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called.
If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing.
It's time for me to fly.
That's thefanflyaway.com. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Join Denver Sports 1043 The Fan and White Claw at Mile High Station on Sunday, November 16th from noon to 2:25 p.m. for the Fan Football pregame show. Get your head in the game with orange and blue face painting and White Claw. Grab life by the claw.
Football is here, and Fitness Gallery's fall football sale is your playbook for a winning home gym. Save up to 50% off on select premium equipment. Visit any of our 7 stores from Denver to Fort Collins and score big before the sale ends.
Every hockey player knows the secret to becoming a great skater is time on the ice. But rink time? It's tough to get, expensive, and so inconvenient. This winter, what if your kids could skate anytime they want, right in your own backyard? With Yard Rink, they can. In about an hour, you can transform your yard into an amazing outdoor rink. It's easy to set up and plays like a professional rink. Watch their hockey skills explode to the next level while they're having the time of their lives. Even Yard Rink ambassador Wayne Gretzky says he wishes he had a yard rink when he was a kid. Order today at yardrink.com and save hundreds by using code RADIO21. Nearly 300 sizes are available, starting at just $9.99. Plus, get 2 puck retention nets and your favorite NHL team logos free. That's YARDRINK.com. And save 21% by using code RADIO21. Give your kids more fun-filled ice time and help their hockey dreams come true.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads, great for you, and so easy you could put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage, weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans, also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Not sure what to get him this holiday? You can't go wrong with a gift from Untuck It. Every guy wants to unwrap our best-selling, wrinkle-free, and performance styles. From polished shirts for holiday parties to cozy layers for family photos, you'll find everything he needs to look sharp and feel comfortable all day and night. So, get a head start on your holiday gift list. Early holiday sale happening now. Find the perfect gift for everyone on your list at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn, untucked.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Black Friday is going on now at every AutoNation store. Hurry in and save for a limited time. Buy with 0 down. Plus, make no payments till next year. Shop new and used cars, trucks, SUVs, even top luxury models. Drive with 0 down. Plus, no payments till next year. Save your cash for the holidays. Go to your nearest AutoNation store now. Limited term financing on approved credit. 90-day deferred payment. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Colorado can count on.
Life happens, and then debt happens. Your laptop dies when you need it most. A hospital bill hurts more than an injury. Enter End Credit Union with a free debt consultation and a plan built just for you. End is here to help you break the debt cycle and get your finances on track. Debt happens. End helps. Schedule your free consultation at end.com/coaching. Standard account and credit qualifications apply.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
It is Denver Sports Tonight right here on 104.3 The Fan. Anilo Piro, Dante Gomez rocking with you for the next 30 minutes or so. Hope everyone is doing well out there in the Mile High City. Lots to unpack on the program tonight. Got a couple of funny texts with regards to the last segment about the Denver Broncos and their upcoming game against the Kansas City Chiefs. This guy says, quote, I agree with the texter who says he disagrees with the quote about winning being everything, end quote. Sincerely, Paxton Lynch. That's a good one right there.
Think that was actually him? He's back in the state,
He
apparently.
is. He's playing for the Colorado Spartans, I saw.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe he's
arena
tuning
football.
in.
Maybe. Paxton Lynch likes his video games as well, so,
He might be gaming this time.
Might be gaming, who knows? But I don't get that, dude. Like,
I bet you he's not watching the Thursday Night Football game.
I would probably agree with
He doesn't seem like a guy that likes to watch football or film of football.
Kind of like your guy, Kyler Murray.
Exactly.
See what I did there? But no, I mean, it's just, I don't want to get hung up on this, but it's like, how could anyone say that winning doesn't matter? Like, you don't know, and maybe that's not what the texter was alluding to.
I think they're trying to say winning matters, but it's not the only thing that matters.
What else matters?
Well, I
Coaches
mean,
get hired and fired based off wins.
Well, yes, you can't go 0-16,
Right,
but I
right.
think how it looks matters.
Well,
in the regular season, at least when you're trying to build
Yes.
this resume to go to the playoff and, succeed against the better teams in the NFL, it's hard to be like, yeah, it's you won every game, but you beat a bunch of bad, like last season when they beat a bunch of, under 500 teams, and then when it actually mattered, you're playing the good teams and you lose, that matters.
Right. And I think here's the other thing I like to say on the Broncos before we pivot to the Rockies. Broncos lose this game, their season's not over by any stretch of the imagination. You still got another one with the Chiefs, another one with the Chargers. You got Green Bay. But I think the importance of this game is the Broncos did a really good job of taking advantage of the quote-unquote soft part of their schedule, right? Beat the Giants, beat the Jets, beat the Cowboys. C.J. Stroud doesn't play, but you beat the Texans. You beat the Eagles. I know that's not a soft part of the schedule, right? But you get a win there. Like, the Broncos have done a really good job of getting these wins and stacking these wins. And that's why I go back to that term that the guest threw out from the drive of, like, this is a validation game for the Broncos. They lose this game, they're still making the playoffs. They lose this game, they could still win the AFC West. All that is still very much on the table. But to me, it's about kind of legitimizing this win streak and legitimizing this defense and seeing this offense pick up the pace a little bit. Because if the Broncos can go out there and win this game with those style points, as you alluded to, Super Bowl becomes a real conversation. Number 1 seed in the AFC West becomes a conversation. I'm not going there yet. I need to see them do it against a team like Kansas City. And to go back to, wins don't matter, yada, yada, yada. Tell that to the Colorado Rockies, who have been in the cellars of Major League Baseball for the last handful of seasons. And, of course, the news that broke, what was that, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, Paul DePodesta, the president of baseball operations for the Colorado Rockies moving forward. Of course, he was with the Cleveland Browns for some time, but he is a baseball lifer. This is the guy who Jonah Hill played in Moneyball, worked for the Dodgers, worked for the Mets, worked for the Padres. He is a baseball guy who dipped his toe into the NFL water. And I know a lot of people, when they look at his stuff with the Cleveland Browns, he's the guy that gave Deshaun Watson the contract. All of this is true. And I'm not giving him a pass for that any whatsoever. But even with that dynamic, it feels like the Rockies, for the first time in really a long time, have a little bit of a vision, or at least the concepts of a vision, the concepts of a plan, right, with a guy like Paul DePodesta. Before we kind of dive into it, Dante, do you like the hire of Paul DePodesta? Do you think he's a guy that can get the Rockies to where they want to go?
I like the hire based on what we're comparing the Rockies were a year ago. I think that is a good hire for them. You mentioned that he's been in the NFL for the last decade, but he's a baseball guy. I think there's a lot of baseball people out there that would actually argue with you he's not really much of a baseball guy, because he kind of was the revolutionary for all the analytics and all of this other aspects of the game that aren't on the field, that are more, putting it on a spreadsheet. So I think you still need to go out and hire a good baseball guy. And what I mean by that is a guy with a baseball background that's been, either a manager for a team or played the game at the highest level, or has been a manager in the minor league, a baseball lifer kind of guy. Because, baseball's not played on a spreadsheet. You do have to, have the personal connection of, there's, it's not some dude's batting average isn't the guy that's batting. It's the human being that's batting. So I think they still have to go out and hire, whether that's a general manager or whoever the manager turns out to be. I think you still got to get some baseball people in the organization to help out with what's going on there. But I think even if you're going based on the analytics that this guy was doing 10 years ago, I think that's still a step forward compared to where the Rockies were.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at, is like, I don't think it could be any worse. right? Like you're talking about what the Rockies have been the last half decade or so, and not just cellar dwellers. Like what's worse than that? Like whatever is worse than a cellar dweller, the Rockies have been for the 2020s and onward and whatnot. And so I think Paul DePodesta, love him, hate him, skeptical, not skeptical. He is a necessary breath of fresh air for this organization. And he's a guy that, there's the old joke about, the Rockies analytics department was the analytics department of that and laundry at the same time during the COVID season. Like the Rockies are going to become, they're going to get caught up to speed with Paul DePodesta.
I don't know if they're getting caught up to speed. I'm sure we see technology, how much it's,
right, but they're
progressing last 10 years.
We're on iPhones right now, and the Rockies are still using Motorola flip-flops.
Exactly. Even if you're using the iPhone 4, you're still a step ahead.
We're getting into the smartphone era, right, to use that analogy with Paul DePodesta. But, I think the other thing, DePodesta aside, but what this hiring, I think, reveals, and Dick Monfort kind of said it as much, we'll play this bite from you here with Walker Monfort here in a moment, is, Dick made the joke about, it sounds like they're pushing me out here a little bit, right? And Rockies fans have been sick and tired of Dick Monfort, as the decision maker. I think Dick Monfort as the owner is fine. I think he cares. I believe him when he says all that kind of stuff. Nice guy. But I think the frustration with Dick Monfort is like, go out there and hire someone from the outside to build this thing up the right way. We can't treat this thing like a mom and pop anymore, right? It's 2025. And with the hiring of Paul DePodesta and the assertion of Walker Monfort and his voice in the organization, I think hits at the fact that Dick Monfort is taking a step back and won't be as involved with the day-to-day. He will ultimately have the final say over, probably trades and signings and all that kind of stuff as well. But this is going to be a collaborative approach with Paul DePodesta at the helm, whoever the GM is, and then Walker Monfort, kind of following in suit. It seems like the Rockies are getting their bleep together, for lack of a better phrase, when it comes to their front office structure.
Yeah, it feels like they're definitely restructuring, the decision-making process within the organization. It almost feels like when Joe Sakic moved on from being the general manager to what is the role he has now?
I think he's
like president of hockey operations.
Essentially, what Paul DePodesta is for the Rockies now.
Exactly. So it feels like Sakic's not doing the day-to-day aspects of the operation. I don't think Dick Monfort's going to be incorporated in any of the day-to-day operations. Maybe some more overarching topics of like, hey, we're going to go pay this guy $150 million from free agency. Will you sign off on that? I think it'll maybe be, that kind of level of, involvement on decisions here. So I like that they're restructuring the decision-making process here. I think it's, that's what you were saying. That's the biggest problem Rockies fans have had with the Rockies and Dick Monfort. It's not that he, provides a bad service of, going to a Rockies game, or it's not that he, has a dump of a ballpark, or,
it's a great ballpark.
Exactly. Doesn't spend money on the team here at all or anything like that. It's a great experience down there. And I think Dick's just going to kind of take his hands off of the baseball operations of it.
Yeah, I think it's just step aside, let the baseball people do the baseball things, and let's rebuild this organization. Because I'll say this and then we'll hit a break. I was down there darn near every single home game in 2017 and 2018 when they were making the playoffs with Arenado and Story and Charlie Blackmon, David Dahl, John Gray, fun teams. This is a baseball town. When the Rockies are good, when the Rockies are competitive, fans come out. Lodo is the place to be. Coors Field is the place to be when the Rockies are competitive. I'm not saying they got to contend for a World Series every year, but just be competitive. Play 500 ball into August. And that's setting the bar low, putting my own foot in my mouth when it comes to winning is all that matters. But for the Rockies, like, they are so down in the dumps that just being competitive again seems like such a massive step in the right direction, and the city longs for it. The city will rally around a competitive baseball team, and Paul DePodesta is the captain of the ship moving forward. Looking forward to see what he does. This is going to be a long process, folks. The Rockies might be down and dirty again next year and the year after and maybe the year after that, but at least it seems like they have a vision. Let us know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com. Text line 303-713-1043. When we come back, it is Nikola Jokic's world, and we are just living in it, folks. Some talks on the Nuggets and some more back on the other side.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is on a mission to feed families this holiday season, and we need your help. As part of our Fill the Truck campaign, we'll be collecting canned goods and non-perishable food items to benefit the Food Bank of the Rockies November 19th, 20th, and 21st. So stop by the Walmart Supercenter in Highlands Ranch near C470 in Quebec from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and help us fill the truck for those in need. Head to DenverSports.com/truck for more info. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today by my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. You want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Oh, man, I do a terrible turkey impersonation. Hey, everybody, Dan Jacobs from Jacobs Law on 303 Law 4040. Those of you that listen to the Dan Jacobs Show know that I just love the holidays. But I also know these holidays in particular can be really tough on a lot of people, whether it's the government shutdown, inflation, the economy, whatever it is, or some people just have a hard time during the holidays as it is every single year. It's just a hard time of year for them. As always, we want to be here for you. If we can help out with a little bit of that with free food and groceries, we would love to have you any first or third Thursday of the month. Come on out to Eastern Hills Church at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. We're even doing smoked ham and turkey this month in honor of Thanksgiving. So if you need it, anybody, no questions asked. You just pull up and pop the trunk. 4 to 6 p.m., Eastern Hills Community Church, every first and third Thursday, Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The holidays will be here before you know it, and for many families, that means excitement, but also stress. Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to my friends at American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances, plus up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
Joel Klatt, the nation's leading voice in college football, joins Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth every Wednesday morning. Presented by Groove Toyota. Here we go. Tune in at 8:10 for exclusive insight, bold analysis, and maybe just a hint of shenanigans. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
We're going to go watch Alabama football with this song, Dante. Something like that.
What, you think this is Dixieland Delight or something?
Oh my gosh. It's Southern vibe.
All right.
Heading down south is the first lyrics of the song.
It feels like you don't know Alabama or country music.
I don't know a lot of country music. I have been to Alabama for a football game, though.
Oh, so you saw Dixieland Delight in person?
Yes, I did.
Did it sound like this?
Not quite. I think I was drowned out by the fans. It was a good time.
What do the fans say again?
I don't think we could say that on the air. Yeah, I don't think we could say that on the air. And they're trying to ban that, right?
Yeah, I think they stopped playing the song for a little bit, maybe.
Good college football weekend. Huge college football weekend. So a lot to unpack here tonight. A few more minutes left to play with here in the program. Anilo Piro, Dante Gomez. Got a text here real quick on the RamosLaw.com text line. Baseball town/city. I'm pumped for a baseball guy to run the program. Me too, man. Me too. And that's the thing. Like when the Rockies, I will always talk baseball on this station whenever I'm on, if there's a reason to. I'm a baseball lifer. That is my favorite sport personally. And we got a handful of texts coming in on the Rockies as well. So clearly the people are fired up about the Rockies in general and their long crawl, the slow, painful crawl back to relevancy in the sport. But DenverSports.com, we got you covered there with all of your Rockies news and information as well. Dante, I don't know what to say about Nikola Jokic anymore. I'm just kind of lost for words. And I guess I can also put my foot in my mouth again with the whole winning over everything because Jokic only has one ring. But the numbers he's putting out for his career, but in particular this season, it doesn't equate in my mind with what he's doing out there and how effortlessly he makes it look. I mean, last night for Nikola Jokic, 55 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. 55 points. He had 50 points through 3 quarters. My buddy calls me up last night. He's like, dog, Jokic has 52 in the third quarter. And I'm like, yeah, it is Nikola Jokic's world, and we're just living in it. That's where we're at with this guy right now. Couple of injury updates. Cam Johnson and Christian Brown both left early in the game last night. Still waiting for some news on them. Hopefully nothing too significant. But what Nikola Jokic is doing this season, the Nuggets now at 9-2, is just spectacular. And I checked, he's not the favorite to win the MVP. It's still SGA followed by Luka, then Jokic. But if he keeps putting up these numbers, much like Aaron Judge just won the MVP tonight in baseball, I personally think it should have gone to Cal Raleigh. But Jokic and Judge are similar in the sense of their numbers are so good that you can make a legitimate argument for them to win MVP every single year, Dante. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I'm right with you on. I run out of words to describe how good Jokic is. And that was after his performance 2 games ago when he missed 3 shots. I want to say just the efficiency that he's playing with right now is crazy. Unbelievable, and he does everything. And the Clippers came out, and I think Ty Lue came out and said hey, we tried to make him a scorer.
What'd you think was going to happen, Ty.
Well, to me, that actually is the best route
Yes.
if I'm on the opposition here, because he does everything so well that you could argue maybe the thing he does worst has been scoring traditionally, but I think he's even elevated that aspect of his game to the point where I don't even know if it's fair to say that's the weak point of his game anymore. So he's just so good, and just we take it for granted how good he is because it's almost nightly he does something that's crazy that if 98% of the rest of the NBA does, it would, be leading Sports Center. But for Jokic, it's just another game of him being awesome.
My first team that I ever covered professionally was the Denver Nuggets. It was Nikola Jokic's rookie season. To see him blossom into the player he's become, I just can't believe it. I really can't. So we'll see what happens with them. Real quick on your thought about, that's the best way to slow down Jokic. Jake brought up a great point. Check out the Mile High Hoops podcast on the Denver Sports YouTube. You could have gotten away with that the last couple of years, but now with the additions of Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr., they have legitimate shooters around the big fellas. So
and it's harder to wear him out too, because I think part of making him a scorer is wearing him out, making him do all the work. You can't even really say that anymore because he has such a good bench and supporting cast that he's not going to be as tired anymore.
Yeah, Nuggets are looking good. Avalanche about to drop the puck here at Ball Arena. Rick George also announced that he's going to step away as athletic director. A lot to unpack, a lot to cover. We got it all for you here on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Also check us out, DenverSports.com. For Dante Gomez, I'm Anilo Piro. This was Denver Sports Tonight.
Like mine, 'cause I provide.
The Fan Flyaway is back. Presented by 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. To kick off 2026, Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is sending you to Phoenix for the biggest party in golf. Airfare, hotel, tickets, and $500 in spending money all included. First, head to thefanflyaway.com to register. Then tune in every hour to see if your name is called. If you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call us back and be entered into the grand prize drawing. That's thefanflyaway.com. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
It's Senior Day at Folsom Field on Saturday, November 22nd. Celebrate the Buff senior class as Colorado football takes on the reigning Big 12 champions, Arizona State. It's also the CU Athletics Hall of Fame celebration as we honor and welcome back Buffs legends. The 2025 induction class includes football greats Jeff Campbell, Mason Crosby, and Barry Remington. Grab your tickets now at cubuffs.com/tickets or call 303-492-8282.
Hi, I'm Terrell Davis, two-time